Today's topic is writing. So let's dive into this project that I created in the previous video. This is actually a short story that I wrote in 1998, but let's pretend I'm writing it just now. I'll add the first chapter, and I'm going to use a folder for that, which I'll talk about a little bit later. And it's Wife Forgets Milk. I've misspelt that, but we can live with it for the moment. So the first thing that happens in this chapter is, and I'll add a fragment for this, Rod wakes up 50. And you'll see that that fragment's just gone at the same level as the chapter itself. I'm just going to drag it in so that it's inside the chapter. Then you can open the chapter and you see it inside there. Then I'll add another fragment, which is wife sends him out for milk. And I can add some words to these fragments. I'm just going to add something unique at the beginning of each one and then paste in some text so that when we come to generating a manuscript, you get a sense of what it looks like, with more than one sentence in each fragment. And of course, as every obedient husband would, as any obedient husband would, Rod accepts this mission, and that's the beginning of our next chapter. So I'll add a folder for our next chapter, which is Rod goes out. Oops, that's gone inside the other chapter. So I'll just drag that back out to the top level. And I'll close this one so that the new things don't go in there anymore. And this chapter starts with a long walk on a hot day. I'll just drag that into the chapter again. Open it. And of course, when there's a pub on the way to the shop and it's a hot day, it makes sense to stop for a couple of cold ones, which Rod does. And then somebody recognizes him at the pub, and somebody else remembers that it's his birthday, and somebody else remembers that he's 50, and everyone wants to buy him a beer, and so there's lots of rounds, and the bartender wants them all to sing happy birthday, and it turns into this whole kind of afternoon/evening thing. And by the time he gets out of there, all he's thinking about is stumbling home and crashing into bed. Let's just add a few words to these fragments. And then I can hear you all wondering what's going on the home front. I can feel you on the edge of your seats. Well, I'll just close that. So our last chapter goes at the top level. Our last chapter will answer this very tense question. And the first thing that happens on the home front is Rod crashes out drunk. as a skunk, you might say. He doesn't notice anything amiss, doesn't notice anything at all. Sometime later, he wakes up to an empty house. It's dead silent. His wife clearly hasn't slept in the bed. His ute's missing. He's alone. Which doesn't sound like much of a comedy, but here's the kicker. We will have a glorious punchline, which I don't want to reveal just yet, but you're going to love it. I'll just add some words to these. And here's our glorious punchline. Damn, thought Rod. There isn't any milk. How funny was that? Come on, you're in stitches. Now, I'm just going to italicize this, although that's not really necessary for internal monologue, but it'll just show you how that translates into the final manuscript. Let me just summarize a couple of points. It's important to use folders for chapters, or maybe not important, but I think good practice. And the reason for that is because the composition of a chapter might change later. You don't think about it too much when you're writing, but at some point you're going to come to a time when you're going to come back and edit and rethink your story structure and things like that. And it's easier changing things if your chapters are folders. And the second point is very similar. Keep your scenes in separate fragments so you can potentially move them around later. Thank you for your attention, and the next video is all about generating manuscripts.